We are live. Holy cow. Okay, first time we have been live. Been kind of back and forth on doing this or not, but we've been encouraged by some other people in industry and some people outside of our industry just to try and do something a little bit different. So today is the first time I am doing this live thing. So try and keep it a little bit easier. Sorry, been fighting a cold, actually getting over pneumonia. We're here in our shop. So this is our spray booth, kind of redesigned it here over the past week to accommodate some more stuff. We've been doing some work for some general contractors, doing some long trim boards. So we had to kind of move the a little bit. Office isn't really conducive to doing some live stuff like this. So I thought it'd be fun to do it in the shop. And then if we have cabinets hanging, you can kind of see some of that. So we're just gonna try and do this maybe once a week, maybe a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. We do a lot of videos. The goal is one a week. And when we're out and about doing videos in the field, sometimes they're rushed. Sometimes you can't really say everything that you'd like to say between customers being there or just your time constrained audio, video. There's just a lot of things when you're out and about in the field. Not to say we can't do those. So one thing we're using, what is this? Live stream, whatever. So I'm trying it out just for something different. One thing cool about this is I can take videos, StreamYard, that's what we're using. So one thing cool about this is I can take a video of a job site and then I can bring it in here and we can kind of diagnose the video. So that's gonna be something we'll do. If you have ideas on things of what you'd like to see or what you'd like to see us talk about or what have you, definitely let us know. That's the whole thing of our journey of They Ask You Answer. Whatever questions you guys have, that's what we want to be able to help you with. So I thought for the first one, because it's relatively simple, it's a simple question, but it's a complex answer. It's talking about paint and paint sheens. So I uploaded a couple different brochures. So from Sherwin, Benjamin Moore, that's primarily who we use, talking about different paint sheens they use in homes. If you go by the easy list, the easy list is, there's flat, matte, velvet, egg sheen, low luster, pearl, semi-gloss, medium luster, gloss, high gloss. That's for interior paint. Once you get a cabinet paint, then it gets into a whole different realm of how many degrees of sheen. And we're not going to get into that. And we've kind of gotten away from the cabinet paint part of it. But for home paint, paint sheen is a big deal. So what kind of paint do you want to use? Which brand are you going to use if you're trying to go from one brand to another? If you're trying to match existing paint, you don't know what you have. If you have old paint and you're trying to match that paint, what all that stuff looks like. So a couple different things I uploaded on here. It's be kind of cool to share this and see if this works. There we go. So I don't know if you can, how well this comes across from what you're reading. So from Benjamin Moore. So this is a Benjamin Moore sheet that I got from our local store. And so it goes through all of the brands that they have. So Aura, Regal, Ben, Ultraspec, ScuffX, Superhide. And it gives all the sheens they have listed. I'm not sure what the numbers mean on this. I didn't ask. I'm assuming that's the tint bases. So from that perspective, it's a good list, but you still don't know what that means. So even with this list, there's another one that I'll put on here too so you can see it, but you kind of have to have the list of what the sheens are, but you need to know what the sheens are itself. So from Benjamin Moore, and Benjamin Moore, if you're listening, I think you can do a little bit better than this. So they list off that sheet that you're seeing on the screen all the different sheens they have. But the other thing is they have this sheen guide. You can get it at the store. If you get a fan deck, it has all these in the fan deck also. So you just have to compare. I'm looking for Aura. So what sheens do Aura come in? Matte, Eggshell, Satin, semi-gloss. So you can kind of see off this which sheen goes on where. So you kind of have to go back and forth to see which is which. As long as you know what paint you have, it's a lot easier or paint you want. The one thing, the low lusters, it's really confusing. And I wish they just make everything simple, flat, matte, eggshell, low, satin, pearl, and just make everybody has the same sheen. but they don't. Everyone has different sheen types of different grades, and every paint grade, which I don't exactly know, aside from they're looking to sell more paint, they're trying to find out ways to sell more paint, so they sell more paint by making all these different sheens. Different paint has a different sheen, which makes it even a little bit more crazier. So you can kind of, again, that's the list of all the stuff on there, and then this is the guide that I was up. Well, I'll have to figure out how to do this better. Why does it remove? I have no idea. This is the first time again, so sorry. I apologize for that. But it should be easier. Maybe just drag it. No, can't drag it. Let's try that. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get that thing to pull up because it's really, it's nice. It'd be nice to see it. Nope, 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 nope. I don't know. I don't even know how I did it the last time, honestly. Still learning. Again, apologize. Sorry about that. Man, that was weird. So let's try this again. And we had some slides, we had some images on here. Let's just add this one back. This is the Benjamin Moore decks. That was easy. Okay, so those are that's the thing I was just showing you. So if you get a fan deck from Benjamin Moore, will be on every single Benjamin Moore fan deck that you see. It'll list all the different sheens on there for all the paints, which makes it a lot easier. So the other thing that you can do is the other brand that we use is Sherwin. So I'm trying to get that other sheen on that can pop on here. So Sherwin makes it easy because they have a really cool brochure. So that's what you're looking at as far as looking when you're looking at the inside of it. This is what I'm looking at when I get it. So it's just a 2-page brochure. Sherwin-Williams, and as you can see, as you're looking at there, it lists the sheens, but then it gives you the image of exactly what paint is on there. So that I really, really like from the standpoint, it shows every paint that you can get in that sheen. Because not all of them are the same. So the best example, Sherwin-Williams. I don't understand you in the Sherwin-Williams, so take it for what it's worth. Velvet. Velvet only comes in super paint. I don't know why. It's only paint. To me, get rid of it. Same thing with medium luster comes in cashmere. I don't understand why. Just get rid of it. It makes it confusing. And this thing between the two, you have both of these are really confusing. This is Sherwin-Williams. This is Benjamin Moore. Now you really want to get confusing, get into Behr, get into Pittsburgh. All these different companies have all their different sheens, which makes it even worse trying to figure out which sheen level goes where. So I don't like that. But the one thing that's kind of nice, once you get in the back, it has a really cool thing. Sherwin, Benjamin Moore has one of these. You can kind of get at the store where it talks about, which paint is better. Again, I just kind of like the brochure that Sherwin-Williams did because it's really nice because it gives different rooms. Within the rooms, the different surfaces. So if it's on a ceiling, it's on a hallway, kitchens and bath, which Sheen works better for each little area. I think that's really nice just to kind of, as a consumer, if I haven't used a paint before, but it's nice because we can give this out to our customers. And then when designers that we send to the homes for paint, we can use this also, and it kind of makes things a little bit more understandable as you're looking at it. And it kind of talks about exteriors also. So again, Sheens, that's what I really like about the different, the two brochures. I still say Benjamin Moore for the month. It's a national brand. Just do a brochure to make it easy for us as painters. So the other thing with Sheens that we really have issues with is when we go to start matching colors. So we're doing a couple of homes where they want touch-ups. So we've done a couple of videos on this. If I think about it, I can put a link on there. But once you paint a room, and it's pretty much within days, to try and touch it up is almost impossible. The paint really isn't made to touch up anymore. Tim Brett's, was it Quality A? I can't remember his company name. He's in Glen Ellen. So he actually worked for me, and then we've worked together on different projects. And he's been a really great friend and co-painter, business owner that we've become friends with and done a lot of stuff with. So it's really cool because one thing, I never knew how to touch up Sheens before, but he did. He's been painting a lot longer than I have, actually. So this was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. We were on a job site and the customer wanted to touch up stuff. Well, at that time, with the paint that we were using, and I can't remember if it was Ben 200 from Sherwin-Williams or if it was Ultra Spec 200. But the one way to touch it up was if you took a rag with hot water and got that rag wet but hot and kind of rubbed the wall so it was hot and then painted it, it would completely blend in the wall. It was amazing. That doesn't work anymore. Paint companies, pretty much they're there to sell paint. They're not there to sell touch-ups. There's no money in quarts. Plus, this is a kicker. We go to get a quart of paint, so we're doing some trim. We get a quart of paint, and the quart of paint was $32. Well, how much is a gallon? A gallon is $44. So for $10, I'm going to get a gallon. I'm not getting a quart of paint. Even though, do I need the gallon? No. But if I need touch-ups or whatever, now I got to spend another $30. So it just makes more sense. So that's kind of what Sheen-wise. I know it's what we had 13, and sorry for the hiccup on the getting back and forth on there. But that's just kind of go over paint Sheens. That was kind of the big thing to go over. Who has what? The brochures, you can see them at the stores. Another good one is even though it's flat, it may be washed, but don't plan on being washable. And trying to match, we're at a house in Elgin, so they want to be able to match a bedroom. They don't want to paint the whole room, but they want to match it. Well, we can match the color, but I can't guarantee I can match the sheen. So if we go to Bear, for example, I can't match Bear Sheen and Sherwin-Williams paint. They just don't work. The other thing about Sheens, I'm glad I did this. Another thing about Sheens is once you get into the dark colors, like that brochure shows all those, like that black and flat is still going to have a little sheen to it. So you have to really, really watch. Once you add a lot of color into Sheens, the actual paint itself will start adding a shine level. The tint adds a shine. It affects dry time and some other stuff. We did do a video on sheen level because we had a customer at Crystal Lake that they had bought Bear matte paint for their ceilings. So that's what they wanted us to use. And we did. The kicker is when we told them we were using it, it has a sheen. So if you have any nail pops, if you have irregularities in the ceiling or the surface, it's going to show because there's a little bit of a shine to it. And they kept arguing with us about the sheen, and it says it's matte, that's not flat. Well, it says it is. Well, no, it's matte. Matte's not flat. So we had this argument. We did finish the job, but it didn't end well because they were mad because they could see a shine on their ceiling. Well, that's because matte is not flat. Now, if you go and CHB from Sherwin, definitely one of my all-time favorite paints. It is so flat. And after 15 years of using it, if they've changed it, I can't tell because I can go back to a house and I actually can do touch-ups with CHB flat stock white from that can. That's not true with almost any other paint that I know of, like ever. So we did a comparison. I had a piece of drywall here. It made me so mad. So I went and got a can of paint just to prove the point. I took a 4x4 piece of drywall. I put a piece of tape down the middle. We painted one side with matte. I painted the other side with CHB flat, pulled the tape off so you could actually see it. And we just kind of had it so you could see, like with the light coming in, exactly where it was at. And you could see the flat and the matte. It looked like an eggshell compared to one another. So even though it may say matte, matte doesn't mean flat. So know those sheen levels. You know, these guides are there for a reason. They really help. Again, some of them aren't 100% true, but make sure you look at it to see exactly what you're getting. It's a huge difference. First time trying this out, a couple hiccups. Hopefully it's of use to you guys. If you have other questions on paint, sheen levels with different other companies, give us a call. Let us know. Let's see how we can help you out with your painting project. And then if you need a painting estimate, there's a link below on estimates. If you got questions, put them in the comments below. We'll make them part of our future content. A couple things we had ideas for lives is as we do a walkthrough, we do walkthroughs for our crews. So every time we get a job, I take a video and I walk, hey, we're going to do this or do this. So I don't know if that would be a good value for you as we're doing estimates. Maybe I can share that video on here. We can pause it and go through, and I can break that video down and do the estimate. So it's a live estimate based off the video. I already have the measurements and all that kind of stuff. So it might be a good thing to try out. If that's something that you value, let us know. And then cabinets, the one thing, we get a lot of questions on cabinets, especially oak cabinets. A lot of people want to know about oak cabinets. So we've done some videos, and it's hard when you're doing a cabinet. It takes an hour and a half. But if we're doing some other things, like we're talking about paint, you know, maybe within the span of 45 minutes with some fans, we can do some, like a small door, and show you what it's like for cleaning it. It's drying, roll primer, spray primer, sanding between coats, all that fun stuff. So let us know. It's kind of restricted to what we can do here in the shop, or talk about what we can do here in the shop. That's what we're looking at. If you got questions, let us know. We're here to help you be the most trusted brand. We claim, or not claim, we are aiming to be the CarMax of painting, trying to be upfront with everything that we're doing, just to try and make sure there's no questions. We're not trying to hide anything. We want you to be 100% confident in who you're hiring for your painting work, whether it's us or another company in the area. If you need recommendations, let us know. We know who some other good painters are. AA in St. Charles is one of our biggest competitors, and they do some great work. Have a great day. God bless. Just remember Jesus is always the reason for this. We hope you have a great day.